Hey, I'm Lisa and I'm a lifestyle expert and mom of 7, and I'm so glad you're here today. Have you ever struggled with making time for date night in your marriage? Well, guess what? You are in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to be talking about why it is so important to prioritize a regular date night with your spouse and share a few tips on making it easier to keep up the habit of romancing your hubby via date night. Before we dive in, let me ask you, how often do you and your spouse currently go on a dedicated one-on-one alone time date experience? I'm going to put a poll in the cards, but let me know in the comments if it's been too long since your last date. The first reason why a date night needs to be prioritized is that marriages need to be fed. Think of like a fire and adding logs to a fire. So if you're not familiar with the concept, in order to keep a fire going, you have to continually feed it. You've got to continually add logs to the fire in order for there to be something to burn. And it's interesting because when a fire goes out, why does fire go out? It honestly doesn't usually go out because of like wind. Obviously if it like rains or you throw a bucket of water, that'll happen. But a lot of times a fire will go out because logs have not been added. There has not been more fuel added to the fire. And I really think it's the exact same thing in marriage. I think that we have to continually stoke and fuel that fire in order for it to burn bright. And I think that sometimes in the busyness and the hecticness of mom life and working and all these things, we just forget, to be honest, to add logs to the fire. Like, to be very frank with you, I think it's just one of the things that becomes like the unprioritized thing. And so I want to remind you, you got to go add those logs. And again, to bring back this fire analogy, imagine your husband is building a fire and then stops putting logs on it and it goes out. Did the fire just go out, or did you stop feeding it? Date night is feeding the fire of your marriage, and don't let the fire go out because you don't have time for it. We've got to make time and claim it and prioritize that time. Trust me when I say that I didn't always think of it this way, because by the way, I used to work a lot and then squeeze in the other parts of my life in the minuscule pieces where work did not take up. And I'm going to tell you a story about how I realized this so head on in my second reason, which is date night aids in communication with your spouse. It's not always easy to have deep conversations with someone, especially with your kids around. Anyone else feel this pain where you're just trying to have a one-on-one conversation, but then like everyone is battling for your attention? Mom, 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 you're not looking. Mom, 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 and it just gets worse and worse. Anyways, date night removes the distraction and lets you really connect with your spouse and sometimes get to the heart of really important things in your life, your dreams, your fears, your worries, your needs, your aspirations. Like, it's just necessary to do this in a space that is quiet and where you can actually look at each other. We need to communicate on this level with our spouse. They're the one we're doing life with. And I just think this is so, so essential. I want to tell you a story about a conversation I had with my husband where I realized that we were looking at our lives completely differently. So we were on a experience at a cottage where I had finally ended a very busy work period. And it was a time when I was like, kids, you're finally gonna get mommy back at the cottage. And I really wanted to show Josh that I was all in our marriage and that I was gonna do things differently. So we did this video series called Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. And it was right around New Year's. And so you were supposed to, one of the exercises had you look at your last year and describe it like a movie genre. And it was a time of great success for me career-wise. And so I remember just being like, oh my gosh, my movie genre was adventure, and my title of my movie would be Goals Met. And I remember he looked at me and said, my movie genre would be horror, and my movie title would be Vice Grip. And I just remember being like, How on earth have we come to such different places? And you want to know why we're at such different places? Because we were not talking. There was no communication. I was simply just leading the ship on the busy train. Those are two different things, ships and trains, but you know what I mean. I was just busy, so busy, and expecting everyone else to just keep up with how busy I was. And that is wrong. And like, he literally said, and I go into this quite a bit in my book, The Possibility Mom, how painful the story was. But he literally said to me, like, I cannot keep up with the pace of our life. Something has to change. And so what was happening in this period? I was not putting logs on the fire of my marriage, and we weren't communicating about it. I was committed, and basically the story that I'm sharing with you made me committed to do both in the future with a regular date night. Reason number 3 why I think date night is so important is that couples who had a weekly date night reported much higher happiness in their relationship than those with no date night. So in a study that I will link in the notes, the National Marriage Project at the University of Virginia found that couples who had weekly couple time, a date night, were 3.5 times more likely to report that their relationship was very happy than those without. And predictability of divorce within 5 years is cut almost in half among those with weekly date night. Think about that for a second. This is so important. It's like a strategy to divorce-proof your marriage. Reason number 4, sexual satisfaction in marriage is way higher in those who date their spouses. Okay, so forgive me if I blush a little while speaking about this one, but the same study by the National Marriage Project found that couples with a weekly date were 3.5 times more likely to be highly satisfied in their sexual lives. Wait a minute, 3.5 times more likely to be very happy. 3.5 times to be highly satisfied. Who wants a better sex life? It's a song about sex. Oh my gosh. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know, I know no words to songs, you guys. Like I know the music, but I know no words to the actual songs. Look, I believe that intimacy, sexuality is an important aspect of communicating love to our spouses. I probably don't have to sell you on this idea. I have had 7 children and I know exactly how they got here. But if you are not in feeling like highly satisfied with your sex life right now, ask whether neglecting date night might be a part of it. And reason number 5 is date night is good for the kids. Spouses who love each other and are deeply satisfied in their relationship make great parents. For my husband and I, we always come back from our dates more relaxed and happier than when we left. And this allows us to give a better version of ourselves to our kids. And isn't this just the truth? When we've had a little break, aren't we more refreshed people? And kids want mom and dad to love each other deeply. Their parents are who they learn about love from. And so love your spouse and keep dating them, because our children are learning what it means to be in healthy and happy relationships from the example that we set for them. Okay, so now a few tips on how to do this in the regular juggle that is mom life, because the juggle is real. Number 1, make it regular. Same night, same time, even a regular place if it would be like helpful, because then it removes all resistance. My husband and I actually go to the exact same place every single week because it's just simple. We walk, we never have to worry about driving. It makes it shorter in terms of babysitting. If we feel like mixing it up, we do. But honestly, we are very happy with going to the exact same place every single time because it's like easy. Sometimes like decision fatigue is a real thing, like meaning you've made all these decisions for work all day or all these decisions for the kids all day. At the end of the day, trying to decide where to go can actually sometimes be like a barrier to actually going. And so we just remove all resistance and we just go to the exact same place on the exact same day, the exact same time. My second tip is dress up a little bit and make it like a thing. Again, not too much pressure. I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, every single date night I need to like get gussied up and there's like so much energy involved in that. No, I'm not saying that it has to be such a production, especially if that's not fun for you, but putting on makeup and like smelling good is like super fun for me. I really like it when I smell good, ladies. So just like a little bit of lipstick, some perfume, clothes that make you feel really confident, some high heels you haven't worn in a million years, like just do it and feel good, feel really confident, and like literally show your man like, hey, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to have fun with you. And maybe, just maybe, put on some fancy underwear, huh? Maybe? Okay, my third tip, put the phones away. I know you might need to have your phone available because of the babysitter or whatever, but just do your best to like have the phone off the table so you can just chat and focus. Okay, now tell me, does this sound difficult? Does it sound like, oh my gosh, there's absolutely no way that I could even fit in a date night? I already feel like I'm failing already. Just like, let me know in the comments if this is something that you're not sure how you would even do. Let me know in the comments, and I promise I'm gonna respond and give you some strategies on how to actually make this fit. And if you wanna unpack this topic further and really like figure out how you can make time for a date night, I've got a book on motherhood and prioritizing the right things in life and in marriage called The Possibility Mom, and I will put that link below. So these are the reasons why I believe it is of utmost importance to keep dating your spouse regularly throughout your entire marriage. Do any of these tips resonate with you? Let me know below, but also let me know if there is something that I haven't covered about marriage that you would love for me to unpack further. I've been married to my husband Josh for 11 years now, and we have certainly been through a myriad of ups and downs. My husband struggles with mental illness, and we talk about that quite openly over here, but I love this man, and honestly, I love him more than when we first started. And I thought it might be helpful to make a short playlist of other videos on this topic for you. So I'm gonna put that right here, and I will see you on the other side.